That actually looks like we're doing pretty good there with this ammo. The target that we have sitting out here says it's at 242 yards. I'm gonna aim right where that triangle's sitting. Yep, it's right on. So instead of A, we're gonna be in B, because that is the profile I have set up for the SIG 223 ammo. In this video, we're going to compare 3 different AGM thermal scope rattlers with one another. In the lineup, we have the newest version 3 5640 with a built-in rangefinder and ballistics calculator. Then we also have the version 3 35384, which does have the built-in rangefinder and calculator as well. And then we have the previous generation Rattler version 2 35640, which does not have a rangefinder or ballistics calculator, but at the time was still an incredibly nice thermal optic. Hopefully after this video, you'll be able to decide which thermal scope is best for you and your budget. I do already have a full video on the version 2, so check that out if you want more info on this version. Very important, before you pick one of these, if you decide to, I do have a discount code for them on the kit page, which by becoming a member of is the best way to support the channel. I also link literally everything I talk about on the channel there with codes to everything. That is the first link below. Big thanks to the sponsors, HSL Ammo, who supplies all of the ammo you see me shoot. They have some of, if not the best ammo pricing available, especially with my code below. I love HSL. Another big thank you to Sig Sauer for sending over the 77 grain match ammo I used when shooting with the ballistics calculator. It shot exceptionally well, and I really do believe Sig makes some of the best match ammo available. And of course, Optics Planet, thank you so much. Again, I have discount codes for both of them below. Make sure you check below for the full disclosure. Let's jump into this comparison. I want to run through some of my favorite features on the new version 3 in comparison to the version 2, and then we'll get into the pros and cons of each option and so forth. Starting with the version 3 5640, the new features added are of course the built-in 1000 yard laser rangefinder and ballistics calculator, which is a really cool add-on, and that alone I think makes this optic worth it, especially once you see how easy it is to use. But I'll go over that more in a second. You also get a better thermal sensor core, which detects minus 15 millikelvin versus the old 20 millikelvin sensor on the version 2. You get a massive upgrade to the OLED display, which I can really only show you in person as they look the same on camera, but I will say it does look better. You do get better image processing on the version 3, which sharpens the contrast and offers more depth to discern what you're looking at. Not that this was a huge issue on the version 2. You definitely would know if you were looking at a coyote in either one, but the extra detail is pretty nice and noticeable for sure. On the version 3, there is no more image freeze when the sensor recalibrates due to its shutterless design. On the version 2, you occasionally would have to deal with the image freezing for a second, which was annoying, and now that's gone on the version 3. And the last big upgrade was they added 2 new red and green monochrome viewing modes, which help with eye fatigue when looking through a thermal optic in total darkness for long periods of time. And I can confirm it does help, and it is a nice added feature. I do want to run through some of the menu and talk about some of the new features while showing you how to use them, starting with the button layout, which is pretty much the same, only with a slight difference on the version 2 model. On the version 3, you have the power button on top. Under that, you have the record button, which with a single press can take a photo, and with a long press you can start and stop your video recording. On the left side, we have the menu and viewing mode button. With a single press you can change the viewing mode to the different thermal profiles, and by holding it you can access the menu, which we will go through in a second. On the right side, we have the rangefinder button, which is activated by placing the box where you want to range within 1000 yards, pressing the button one time, which will give you your distance and automatically change the bullet drop indicator according to the ammo you put in the calculator, and I'll go over how to do that when we go through the menu. Then the last button is the zoom function, which allows you to zoom from 3.5 all the way to 28x. An important note here is with the 50 version versus the 35 version, this isn't a quality difference necessarily. It has more to do with the lens's focal length and what it looks like through the scope at its base magnification. The 384 versus the 640 is where the image quality comes into play. Think of it like a 35mm lens on a camera versus a 50mm lens. The 50mm technically is able to see further clearer, but the 35 version has a wider field of view and is easier to use at close distance. So if you're shooting often within 300 yards, make sure you consider the 35 version possibly over the 50, as you might like it more. I will say I do experience less eye fatigue with the 35 version, as the wider field of view is easier on the eyes for some reason, but the added detail of the 50 is really nice, especially at a distance. It's totally situation dependent. Just go with the one that fits your hunting style more, because they are both awesome and honestly just used for different things. The version 2's button layout is very similar, only you don't have the laser rangefinder button, so they place the thermal profile view mode button there instead. Jumping into the menu, you have your basic settings on the first page, then moving into the advanced settings is where you can customize the optic to fit your needs better. At the top you have your zeroing profiles, which allows you to make multiple profiles, which can change all of the settings we're going to talk about. I use profile A for my 55 grain HSL ammo and profile B for my match grade 77 grain SIG ammo, which allows me to create zero profiles for both types of ammo, which I honestly think is really cool that you can do that. This could also be used for different calibers altogether. If you're switching the optic from a 5.56 gun to a 308, your zeros are going to be totally different, but because of the AGM QD mount, swapping is super easy and generally holds zeros pretty well if you put it back in the same spot as where you zeroed it. So if you wanted to do that, I can see the profiles being a really helpful feature and a real possibility. Moving on, starting in the HSL ammo profile, you have your zeroing profile, which is where you can customize 5 different reticle setups. You can see in the top right corner as I change it to A2, the yard switch from 50 to 100, and that's because on that profile, that's where my optic is zeroed at. The A1 profile is set up for a 50 yard zero, and I usually have a different profile for 50, 100, 500, and 800 yard zeros. In the section under that, you can label the ammo you were using with that zero, so you can match your ammo to your ballistics calculator settings by scrolling to the very last tab, which are those settings. This is where you can first of all turn on the ballistics calculator, because it doesn't come on from the factory. Then you can change the aim point style and color, add your ammo, and set up parameters, which all goes into how the optic calculates the bullet drop. You can check your box of ammo for most of this info, and then if you don't already know it, just ask Google for the ballistics coefficient for the exact ammo you're using. After that, your calculator will do all of the heavy lifting for you, which I found this to be the coolest feature out of everything so far. Under the correction setting, which is just above the ballistic settings, you can change the zero distance, base zoom, and it's also where you can zero the profile by changing the X and Y axes to line up with the impact of your last shot. Zeroing is super easy with these, and it was just as easy on the version 2. I zeroed mine around late sunset on just a regular cardboard paper target. Your goal is to be able to see the heat difference, so it's best to go when it's not as hot, like midday, so you can see where your rounds are hitting. You basically take a shot, freeze the frame, change the X and Y axes to match the impact, and then you save the settings and take your next shot to see the point of impact is shifted to 0. If you do it right, you really only need to take one shot. Then you can change the distance on another profile and do the same thing until you have all the distances and zeros needed. Then once you input your ammo choice and ballistics, you'll be able to switch through the profiles depending on the distance you're shooting and have a perfect zero no matter the distance, which is extremely cool. On the version 3 though, because of the ballistics calculator, you really only need a 100 yard zero, because the ballistics calculator will do all of the work for you, showing you pretty accurately where your holdover is. I've been nothing but impressed with this feature, and I'm so happy with how it's done so far. Unfortunately, I've only been able to take it out to 600 yards, but it did show me exactly where to shoot, and I was making shots on target. So overall, very impressed with it. For the most part, in your settings, that's where you're going to be spending most of your time, but as soon as you have all of your profiles and zeros set, you'll pretty much be good to go. Just make sure you turn on the audio so your video captures the sounds. If it's not on, you'll have a muted video with no way to change it. Something to note that I didn't understand when I first got the version 3 of this optic is your rangefinder box is set from the factory depending on where the laser rangefinder is calibrated to. So no, you cannot move where the box is. It's fixed and it's different for everybody depending on how it came from AGM. So if your box is in a different spot than mine, then that is why. Connecting to the app is really easy as well. Basically download the AGM Connect app, change the network settings on the thermal from close to hotspot, then turn on your Wi-Fi, look for the WLAN dash a bunch of numbers hotspot, and then the password to connect is the section after the dash, and then once you're connected, open the app and you can change the settings, view and download your saved media, update the firmware by clicking on your profile, selecting a device, and clicking the update button, and I highly recommend doing it this way. It is way easier than plugging the device into your computer and doing it that way. You can also sync the time and date and a bunch more. The app is actually really cool, so I highly recommend that you download and connect before going out so you can use it while you're shooting. So far, I've been trying to figure out the biggest cons to the version 3, and I have to say there aren't very many. One thing I do wish they kept was the base zoom of 2.0 instead of the 2.5 minimum on the 35 version, especially because that goes up to a base of 3.5 on the 50 version. I really liked having the base magnification that wide in order to see more of the landscape. It just feels like less strain and work for my eyes for some reason, which for me is why I would likely go with the 35-640 version even instead of the 50-640 version. Even though its minimum magnification is 2.5 with the 35mm lens, it looks wider than the 50, which I like. Though I do think the 50-640 has its place, especially if you're doing mostly long range hunting, and again, like I said before, the 50mm lens is extremely clean looking, so there are pros and cons for sure there. It's almost like both would be good to have. Maybe your buddy is scanning the field on the 35 and you're the target identifier and precision shooter on the 50. I do think the upgrades are worth it even if you already have the version 2. The biggest con is probably the price, but overall in my opinion it is a worthwhile upgrade, especially if you're a member of the kit page getting a big discount on it. The laser rangefinder and ballistics calculator is incredibly cool, and not having it freeze every couple of minutes with the shutterless design really does make a big difference in the overall experience. The image is way cleaner and pretty much everything was improved in some way. I've been nothing but impressed with this new version 3 Rattler series. I'm not sure how they can improve it from here, but I think I also said that about the version 2 Rattler, so big fan of this overall. I can absolutely recommend it. I've really loved getting to know this new technology. A vital part of all of this is training with it so you know its capabilities and so you can use it to its fullest potential. Hopefully this helps you out when it comes to making a decision on which option is right for you. Make sure you train so you can be more prepared to defend innocent life and protect those you love. I have some very cool things coming to the channel soon. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you in the next one.